Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Political Deep Dive this evening. My name is David Valente, and so we're the newest show on LPTV, and just wanted to give you a brief background of what the Political Deep Dive is. We started this live stream about 6 months ago in December. The purpose of it is generally to have live guests, although this week is a little bit different since we're at the Libertarian National Committee meeting. Uh, Generally have guests discussing a emergent or a political issue that is timely, um, and have in-depth and civil discourse on that issue. Um, that's one of the big things for me is having civil political discourse. So we're talking, uh, you can disagree, and I will disagree with my guests from time to time, but we can disagree without being disagreeable. So that's the big thing of what the political deep dive is. It's to go beyond the sound bites and the talking heads. You won't see talking heads yelling and screaming at each other uh, on this podcast, the live stream that we do. Um, it's getting to the heart of the matter, getting some understanding, where we can agree, we can find action for us to do. So those are the big things that this program aims to get to the heart of. So we are a very interactive program. So if you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're at, uh, you know, send me a message. Yes, mediocre swimmers can watch this deep dive, absolutely. And Chase Oliver, hey, thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, uh, so this week's episode is on the Libertarian National Committee. Um, uh, you know, Even as members of the Libertarian Party, you may not know what the Libertarian National Committee does or what its purpose is. So we're going to deep dive into that. I have 3 interviews that I did this week with Eric Rautzep, who's an at-large member, the treasurer of the party, Tim Hagen, and then the executive director of the Libertarian Party, Mr. Tyler Harris. So we'll get into those interviews in a little bit, but I did want to give you a little bit of background of what the LNC is. And again, we are interactive, so if you have any questions, want to pop in let's see, I got a question here. If you have any questions or want to know what's going on, if they legalize cocaine in the U.S., how much do you think use will go up? We actually, and this is a little bit off topic, but I will address this. When you look at what they've done in Portugal, where they've legalized or decriminalized all drugs, what they found is that illicit use goes down because now you're treating it as a health issue rather than a law and order issue. So I actually think cannabis or that the uh, use of drugs would go down if you legalized. Um, Even cannabis went down in Portugal when they legalized. So. Um, but anyway, so what is the Libertarian National Committee? The Libertarian National Committee is the kind of the visionary board of the Libertarian Party. So we get together quarterly, which is what this meeting is, a quarterly meeting in person. We're all in Chicago. We were all in Chicago this week to discuss what we want to do over the next 3 months, or even over the next year with this board term. Um, and I'll get into some of the more specifics of what we discussed this meeting in a moment. But you know, I will tell you that the board is made up of 4 executive officers: a chair, vice chair, secretary, and a treasurer. So the chair is Joe Bishop Henchman, vice chair is Ken Molman, secretary is Karen Ann Harlows, and our treasurer is Tim Hagen. Then there are 5 at-large members. So these people represent all the entire country. And that's Eric Rautzep, um, let's see, Valerie Sarwark, Laura Ebke, um, and Josh Smith. I'm missing somebody. Richard Longstreth. So those are the 5 at-large members, and there's 8 regional members. They represent a subsection of the country. I am a regional alternate, so there are 8 alternates as well to each region. I am the alternate delegate to Region 5, which is basically the Mid-Atlantic Seaboard. So Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, DC. I'm from West Virginia, so West Virginia is in that group. North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Um, but there's a main national delegate, and then there's an alternate in case the main delegate can't show up there. There are 17 voting members on the Libertarian National Committee. Again, we meet quarterly. We also have monthly Zoom meetings where we'll hammer out some things between the meetings. We also do email ballots, so we can always address emergent items. Let me hit some comments. I am very anti-drug war as well, Mr. Mayor. Uh, Joe Simpson is going to be the first Libertarian president. I hope you run soon. And all right, excellent. And yeah, Alex Gibson. If you legalize it, you take out the global. Yeah, good points. Good points. All right. So let's talk about the meeting that we had today, or yesterday and today. So what goes on during a Libertarian National Committee meeting? We have the first day is generally reports. We're listening to reports. So we gavelled in yesterday at 9 a.m. and we had reports from we had the chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer reports. And then we have reports from the Libertarian Party staff. And we had some great news coming from staff. Our membership numbers are up. We're raising more money. The treasurer's report indicated that we've got a surplus right now that exceeds about 3 months of our expenditure. So if we do have an immediate stop of money, that we've got 3 months to operate before we go into the red, which is all good. And then we had yesterday we had committee meetings after lunch. So I'm on the media and marketing chairs advisory committee. So we talked about rebranding stuff in the LP store, some of the placards and the issue cards that we have, adding some, rewriting some. So look for that here in the future. We had a great presentation from Dr. Joe Buckman and Elizabeth Nolan. So for years, David Nolan, one of the founders of the party, had, when he passed away, his wife kept all of his records, and she wanted those preserved. We've been working on getting them preserved and having a permanent location for those records. Those records are going to be kept at the Library of Congress, which is very prestigious, Thomas Jefferson's library. And so we're happy to have a permanent location for a lot of those founding historical documents of the Libertarian Party and his involvement in the party up until his death. So we're really excited to have those records, and we're going to be having some of that, some of the video, the visual records that are being preserved at our 50th anniversary, which I'll talk about in a little bit. After that, we did regional reports. So basically, during the regional reports, we report on what the good things that are going on in our states. West Virginia, I'll give a shout out. Our state chair, Will Hyman, was elected to the Clarksburg City Council. And we are excited because that's our first elected official in a few years since Joel Davis stepped down as Payton City Mayor. So we became the 40th state to have an elected libertarian, 240 elected libertarians throughout the country and in 40 states. So congratulations, Will. So we highlight some of the good stuff that are happening. If there are any issues in our region, that we'll bring those forward for action by the LNC if we need to. But it's a good chance for us to hear what's going on in the states and kind of share some information. And then we got to reports of standing committees. Not all the committees issue reports. the LNC staff a bunch of committees. So there's a it's called the APRC, the Advertising and Publication Review Committee. There's the Affiliate Support Committee, which I'm on, the Audit Committee, the Ballot Access Committee, which is very important to us, Candidate Support, Employment Policy and Compensation, and the Historical Preservation Committee. Um, there's also a couple committees like Bylaws and Platform that won't report until the National Convention. So, um, those committees continue to meet in the background and craft bylaw and platform changes, and we'll see what comes from those. Um, we had a minor report from the Convention Voting Process Committee. We're looking at, you know, h- how can we streamline our voting processes at the national convention so it doesn't take quite as long, and are there alternative methods of voting that we can do? Uh, Christopher Thrasher is leading that effort and is doing a fantastic job. We also had the chair advisory committees, so activism and membership, of which I'm a part of, as well as media and marketing. And we also have budget and operations, candidate and elected officials, our development committee, and our policy procedure staff. So those were the reports that we have. So we basically did a whole day just of reports at the LNC. And at the end of the day, we had a nice presentation by Dr. Joe Jorgensen, our 2020 presidential candidate, and her campaign manager, Steve Dosbach, um, so that, you know, they gave us kind of the lessons learned from the campaign, what they would like to have done better, what they did that was successful. It was a great presentation, and I think is going to be very effective. Utilizing those lessons learned and getting those off to the 2024 nominee, whoever they may be. Um, the Today basically was just voting on issues. We did a really cool thing called a consent calendar, I guess is the term that Joe Bishop Henchman used. And basically, what it is, when you have a bunch of items that you need to vote on, a lot of the stuff that we had to vote were policy manual changes, and a lot of them were, kind of minor tweaks to language, grammatical changes. Um, so you have a list of all of the things that you're going to vote on, uh, and if you're going to pass it without debate, or you don't need to debate it, you just leave it on the table. If you want to debate the issue, you move it over to another table, and that's how we decide. We passed of the 24 um, uh, orders with new business with previous notice. Uh, we passed most of them, and then there were five orders without previous notice. We passed most of them via consent without any debate. There was some debate. There was The biggest debates were actually trying to choose where we're going to have our next two meetings, and that was settled. We do have our next LNC meeting in person Labor Day weekend in Reno or Sparks, Nevada. We're going to be checking out the convention site for 2022, and with our convention oversight committee, get a good lay of the land and make sure that we have our ducks in a row for the convention. Pull that off. And hopefully without there's COVID will be a long distant memory, and we won't have to worry about that. The other thing, we had some debate. There are a couple things that did not pass off the list, and one was a move regional reports to the very end of the committee meeting, so we don't miss anything of substance. That was shot down. People think that the committee, the regional reports are important. You don't want to sideline those, and I agree with that. And then there was an attempt to it was the last thing. The policy manual change to require disclaimers on certain communications. That was postponed to the next LNC in-person LNC meeting because we just couldn't agree on how we're going to apply this across the board. So give them a chance to kind of hammer out some better language on that. All of the new business without previous notice, the stuff that we've motioned during the meeting to take up, we passed the convention oversight budget, convention oversight committee budget, so that they can begin work on lining up vendors and AV equipment and all that fun stuff for Reno. And we also did the executive committee passed out a budget for the Alabama drive, voter drive, so that they get ballot access again. They have some really onerous rules in the state, although they do have a much longer timeline to achieve those numbers. It's still I think they're talking about 71,000 signatures that they want to get, gross signatures, to ensure that they get ballot access. Um, and even if they get ballot access, the problem is they have to they have to have a candidate in a statewide election get 20%. So it's daunting in Alabama to get ballot access and to keep it. So let's take some more information. Oh yeah, Nolan's father did work for the Library of Congress, so it's really cool that his son's work will now be on permanent display there. Let's see. Thomas Jefferson document and his party. Well, I mean, so the Library of Congress was Jefferson's thing, and his library and his documents went there. So that's why I mentioned that. Plus the fact that David Nolan's father did did work for the Library of Congress. So support for Alabama is much appreciated. If we had INR, I'm not sure what INR is, but you can explain in the comments. But we are we're happy to help. We want to maintain get 50 state ballot access. That's something we've had in the last two presidential elections, and that's something we want to maintain going forward. That adds to our legitimacy as a party, is having 50 state ballot access. So anyway, while I was doing the meeting this year. Oh, initiative and referendum. Yes, that would. If you had initiative and referendums, the ability to put initiatives and referendums up as citizens, I think that would definitely be a big help. So, but anyway, while I was doing the meeting this weekend, I sat down with three members of the one member of the Libertarian Party headquarters and two members of the body, and just got their how they became libertarians and what their some of the stuff that they're working on. So the first person I talked with is at-large member. He's from North Carolina. This guy, I will tell you that I have of the people that I've met on the LNC. I really kind of share a kinship with Eric Rautzeff. He's such a nice guy, and I think that I think the world of him. And anyway, here's my interview with him. Apologies for any background noise. It was in the LNC committee meeting room between sessions. So anyway, here we go.
All right. Hey there, everybody. I'm joined by your favorite Libertarian at Large, host of the Libertarian at Large show on LPTV, and at-large member of the Libertarian National Committee, Eric Rautzeff. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well, and it's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me to come on to LPTV. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you.
So tell everybody about your. So of course, you're the at-large. Tell everybody about yourself. Can I give an introduction if they haven't seen the at-large show yet?
So, Libertarians at Large, we have as regular hosts of the show is Laura Ebke, Valerie Sarawak, and myself, and we have a special guest every single week, which is going to be someone who's a candidate or an advocate for liberty that may be going a little bit unsung, and we want to make sure that they're brought to the forefront and given the recognition and really the accolades that they deserve because of their hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell everybody about yourself. what you do outside of the LP and stuff you're involved in.
So professionally, I'm a home inspector. It's really a wonderful job. I get to do. I help people with buying the home and making sure that they're getting the product that they're expecting. And it's really a great way for an individual or a private inspection to make sure that the home is safe. And it's amazing, even on new construction, how often the government inspectors miss things. And it's really an advocate for the individual who's buying the home to actually make sure that they're getting the home that they deserve and that they're really hoping and dreaming for.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend to anybody who's out there actively looking to buy or build a home to get that home inspection, because that will save you lots of money on the back end.
Oh, absolutely.
What brought you into libertarianism?
So I was a member of one of the old parties,
Yeah.
little reddish in color.
Yeah, me too.
And I actually worked on staff for several candidates, mainly on a statewide or national level.
Mm-hmm.
And it was shortly after 2000, and I was in Florida, and I was counting hanging chads.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know that goes back a little bit of time there.
There
And
goes that therapy.
Yeah, the mental repression has been undone there.
Yeah.
But I was interviewing for a position at the White House, and because of who I share my love with, I was told that I would probably not be the best fit for the White House. Regardless of how much I had done for the campaign and traveled around the country, and I had predominantly been in the New York and Northeast area for that campaign. But yeah, I was basically told, hey, thank you for all your hard work, but you don't exactly fit our demographic. And I realized that at that point, it wasn't me leaving the party; it was the party leaving me.
Mm-hmm.
So I became politically homeless, and I went over to the blue, and they really weren't what I was looking for either. Even though they fixed the problem that I had with the red, but they had quite a bit of other problems.
Yeah.
So it took me a while, and I remained politically homeless for several years. And I had known about the Libertarian Party, but I had experience with several individuals that were far more radical at that time than I had a temperance for.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that I've become more radical.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
But at the time, I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
And I found the Libertarian Party. I had moved to North Carolina and met the Libertarian Party while they were tabling at the state convention, or the state. Oh my gosh, the words.
Like a fair.
Yeah, the state fair. Thank you. The word escaped me there for a second. I started talking to the volunteers at the state fair booth, and the next thing I know, I'm at a county meeting, and 2 months later, I'm at the state convention, and haven't left.
There you go.
They haven't kicked me out either.
I always say that you attend libertarian events, win libertarian prizes, and that usually involves responsibility and titles. So.
Yeah, it starts off being voluntold, and
exactly.
No, I kid. I mean, I volunteered because it really is the party that
Mm-hmm.
has every aspect of what I believe this country can be, and how amazing this country can be is summed up in the libertarian values.
Yeah, I kind of almost reverse political journey. I started at blue, became red, was a county vice chair for the Young Republicans at one point, and then the party left me, and it was more on the war and the torture and all that stuff. That's what really drove me out of the GOP. And I always talked about small government. They never delivered on that. I always talked about protecting civil liberties, which the Democrats never delivered on. And that's where I found the home. So
the old parties are really good at talking a game, but not acting on the game.
Oh yeah, their platforms are different, but the way they govern is pretty much carbon copy.
Identical.
So what got you to run for at-large position?
So I had been active in North Carolina, which is my home, on the state level. I had been coalition director. I had been on the executive committee. I had been the political director. I had served a number of different features over the years in
Mhm.
North Carolina. And one of the nice things about being in North Carolina is that we have a team that has been developed over the years where you actually have a media person filling the media slot, and you have computer or IT people filling the IT spot. And there was a lot of great talent, or is a lot of great talent in North Carolina, and they were filling up executive slots. Uh, so I started realizing that, if I'm going to move up to the national level, which has always been something that I've wanted to do on a personal note, but I also think that I can bring a lot to the LNC, and I hope
Mhm.
I've proven that I can. Uh, Now is the time to do it because North Carolina was in a position that it wouldn't have been a hindrance if I moved up to the national level. So I knew that the state would still be in a phenomenal place. And I'm not end all and be all. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to say. But my hard work uh, would be covered 100 times over
Yeah.
if I moved up. So it was clear that the time was right, and I did. And of course, I'm still working with North Carolina quite a bit, and I enjoy every minute of it. I'm still my county chair, and I love that. Uh, but it also gives me the time to work a lot with national
Yeah.
and around the country. I've been to 9 state conventions this year.
I know
So
you're a traveling man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's well, that's one of the benefits of being at large. The whole country is kind of who I want to listen to,
Yeah.
and I'm lucky being a small business owner uh, in an industry where I have the capability of making my own schedule, that I'm afforded to travel around the country
Yeah.
and actually meet libertarians around the world. I mean, or around the world, around the country, and I want to continue doing that. Also next year as well, and I
Awesome.
look forward to seeing a lot more states. So I hope to see you all at
Send him an
various state conventions around the country.
yeah. Send him an invite.
Absolutely, please
Yeah.
do. And if I'm at your state convention, I would love to be your teller to make sure that all your elections have an impartial voice. And there's a whole bunch of topics that I can
And
speak on too.
he did that at the West Virginia convention,
Yep,
which I just had in April. So
I've done it at all 9 conventions that I've been at this
yeah,
year.
yeah, we
So
did
yeah,
it together in Pennsylvania.
yeah, it was a
It
lot
was
of
a great
fun.
time.
A lot of fun.
Hey Joe, Joe photobombing us, awesome. So you're the head of the media and marketing committee.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So we've got some great successes already. We have the social media addendum to the policy and procedures manual,
Yes.
which was a huge win for the Libertarian Party, I think, especially going forward. That sets a standard on how and a little bit of the tone for social media on the national level, obviously. Uh, we've been doing a lot of work with revamping the LP store. That was a lot of work going through different vendors, really kind of identifying who would best fit the needs of the Libertarian Party, not only for today, but for tomorrow. So we have a company that will grow with us and make the fundraising aspects of the LP store to be all that more effective and efficient.
Oh, that's awesome.
And really take a lot of the burden that currently exists off our staff to allow them to function in the roles that they currently work in, which is what they need to be doing.
Well, I think one of the exciting things about the new vendor is that it is print on demand.
Yes.
So we don't have a ton of stock sitting, taking up space in our headquarters or wherever we decide to put it. We can print it and send it right out and not have to worry about all the other stuff that you have to do to get our message and our products out.
Well, that was one of the things that we've identified very early on, is that this is something that's going to allow us to have the best profitability for the store. So we have the most amount of profit going back to the Libertarian Party without spending money on a lot of duplicity or things that aren't selling. So we'll be able to have a much deeper product offering, also a much faster product offering on particular issues, and still make the money that we need to for the party. So
Yeah.
it's really phenomenal. And there's a lot of things coming out. Um, we're going to try new products, things that you've never seen. and that's because of print on demand. There's going to be beach towels. There's going to be camping chairs. There's going to be
Nice.
pot holders. You know, a lot of your traditional things that maybe, you know, you want hanging around that might
Kiss
have
the Libertarian apron.
yeah, kiss the Libertarian apron, or a porcupine, or
Yeah.
you know, something like that. Because we're proud to be libertarians,
Yeah.
and we should be showing it off as we go out. So that's definitely something that we can have a lot of fun with. And when you purchase it, you're still helping the party, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that's the side benefit is we're helping the party grow and help fund what the other things that we need to do. So,
Yep. And of course, then also we can do limited edition or small runs. Like we're going to have a whole line of vintage campaign posters from presidential campaigns for the Libertarian Party going all the way back to 1972.
I know I can't wait for those because I'm going to have that in
Yeah,
my
that's a
office.
little that's good. It's a little sneak peek there. They're going to be on T-shirts, mugs. We're going to be doing replicated posters and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And it'll also have a great benefit for making sure that the history of the party is kept alive, and that's why it's been a pleasure to work with Karen and Harlos on that project.
Yeah.
With the historical committee.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? Plug your show. Plug your show.
So yeah, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, Libertarians at Large on LPTV. Also, make sure that you check your channel guide on LP News to make sure that if there's any updates or other shows that are on LPTV, you know when to tune in to both our Facebook and our YouTube channel with times and dates for that. So that's one of the other things that I'm really excited about is that LPTV is going to be getting a channel guide on LP News from now on, so everyone knows when to catch their favorite shows every single week.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to share with us?
Just keep watching because there's a lot of great stuff. I can't go into details on everything, but there's a lot of amazing stuff coming up. Just a lot of excitement in the party. And make sure you go to 50.lp.org and come to Colorado for our 50th anniversary party. And if you can't make it, once the store gets booted up in the next couple of weeks, go on to lpstore.org and purchase some 50th anniversary material. By purchasing that material, you're making sure that we're having even better bash over in Colorado, but you're also helping the party as well. So definitely a lot of great stuff coming up. This is an amazing year, our 50th anniversary.
I know.
And
come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Party with us.
And it's really actually so fitting and so appropriate that the expansion of our staff, the expansion of the stores, the expansion of LPTV, and so many new programs that are on the horizon are all coming out this year in our 50th anniversary. I think is so appropriate and so amazing.
Yeah.
And I get excited whenever I talk about it, and I hope everyone can hear that as well.
Yeah, and again, 50.lp.org or
Yes.
lp.org/50.
Yes.
We'll get you to registration for the event, and we'd love to have everyone there and come hang out with us. And it's a party. There's no business happening there. We're just going to party and have a good time. So.
Oh, absolutely. There's boat rides. There's canoeing. There's shooting. There's a little bit of everything, and it's the first time that we're going to have an LP museum, which has a lot of the founding documents and a lot of other really neat stuff that has never been seen before because it was lost in the archive and has only been recently rediscovered. There's also going to be a whole video wall of restored and recovered VHS and Betamax tapes.
Yeah.
So that people had recorded and put on a dusty shelf that we've now digitized and made sure that it comes back. So there's going to be a lot of interesting
There's going to be
stuff.
a lot of bad haircuts out there.
Oh yeah,
right now.
oh yeah. There's more than one mullet that I've seen.
Nice.
But
excellent. So, Eric, thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
we'll be seeing you on Wednesday or Thursday night at 8:00.
Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
Have a great one, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that was Eric Raudsep. Region 5, I'm sorry, at-large member of the Libertarian Party, Libertarian National Committee. Let me queue up my next interview. Next interview is with Tim Hagen. We conducted this at the end of day one, so I look probably tired at that point after hearing all those reports. But Tim Hagen, one of the nicest guys you'll meet, big baseball fan, engineer, and retired engineer, and has been treasurer since 2012, and is the most popular member of the LNC because he was elected at our last convention without opposition. So, and libertarians like to debate about everything. So, to get anybody in to any position without opposition is quite a remarkable feat. So, anyway, here's Tim Hagen.
Hey there, everybody. Here with Tim Hagen, treasurer of the LNC. Tim, how you doing?
Hi,
Man?
good. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well.
Great.
It's a little loud here. We just broke up for the afternoon, first day of the LNC meeting.
We're in
you
an
had
LNC meeting in Chicago.
Yes, we are in Chicago at the Swiss Hotel, downtown Chicago. So, tell us about yourself.
I'm been treasurer of the National Party since 2012. One longer terms on the LNC. Live in Las Vegas, originally from Kansas City, Missouri.
So, what's it like being a money man who lives in Vegas?
I keep the money from the party separate from what we take to the casino.
Well, definitely. You don't want to go to jail here.
Right. Actually, when I first moved there, I go play blackjack about every Saturday, but then after a year, got tired of it, and it's been quite a while.
Yeah. I
just got routine because.
Well, I can see that because I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which had casinos north of it, north and south of it. And, yeah, it's not. If you're around it all the time, it may not, unless you're a professional. Probably loses some of the luster on it.
Yeah.
Well, again, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Oh, like other than libertarian or part of the party?
Yeah, we're not. Don't have to be libertarian all the time.
Was an electrical engineer, retired 2 years ago.
Awesome.
Worked on mostly radar systems.
Okay.
So.
And you went to Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's from Missouri. It's now called Missouri University of Science and Technology.
Yeah,
that time,
S&T,
yeah, used to be University of Missouri. While I was there.
Yep.
I worked for years, and I went to Georgia Tech, get my master's, MSW master's.
Yeah.
In electrical engineering.
Nice. Cool.
And actually, I heard about the Libertarian Party from my brother before I went to Georgia Tech, but I wasn't involved. And first week, the College Libertarians, along with other organizations, had tables up. I know, stop by, talk to them. That's how I ended up getting involved with the Libertarian Party.
What year was that?
That would have been 92.
92.
Yeah.
So you are a long-time libertarian.
Right.
Not just your term on the LNC, but you've been involved in the party
for
quite a while. That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. So besides that, what are your big passion issues when it comes to the Libertarian Party?
The issues is there's no one issue. I mean, a lot of people join the party have a particular big issue. Mine is just want the government to leave me alone.
Exactly.
And stop taking as much money in taxes.
That is true.
So social and the economic issues. I've always been like that.
Yeah. So you delivered a report today, day one of the LNC meeting, talking about how we're doing financially. So you want to give a brief, non-numbery recap of that?
Doing pretty good. Actually, we reported meeting before was that we paid off the mortgage on the office building.
Yes.
Which was I really love that we were able to do that. Got some good donors that were really interested in paying that off, and the LNC made sure us paid extra on the principal payments on non-election years, on odd years.
Yeah.
To make sure main purpose was get done before the balloon payment.
Yes.
We got so much more, we paid off way early.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, just to own our own building, In Alexandria, Virginia, which is,
All right.
if anybody knows anything about Alexandria, Virginia, it's a very expensive location to own property in. To
Yeah.
be able to pay it off in how many years was it?
There might turn maybe 8 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I was there when they opened it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's a remarkable feat for the party.
And our fundraising has been doing real good this past year. And actually, right now, we have a cash surplus, about 3 months worth of expenses of the office operating expenses.
Yeah.
So if there was some kind of emergency where no money at all came in,
Yeah, we got
solvent.
3 months,
3 months
grace period right now.
Right.
So that's fantastic
Which is
news.
it's real good because sometimes we have been owing money and had to delay paying off vendors or delay paying off the convention hotel bill for a while.
Yeah, I will say that across the board we've been doing rather well. I mean, Valerie Sarwark's Affiliate in the Box committee already raised their entire budget for the Affiliate in the Box program.
Yeah, that's over $15,000.
$15,000
just for the affiliate support.
5 months, really.
Yeah, just this year.
Yeah. That's amazing numbers.
Right.
So, anyway, so what? Talk about Nevada. You're from Nevada. What's going on out there?
Yeah, we had our convention May 1st this year. New set of officers elected in, so got no brand new people in there. So I do. One thing that a lot of people don't realize that every state has different laws for ballot access and elections.
Yeah, you got some interesting laws there.
Yeah, and one of ours, we have automatic ballot access if we have 1% voter registration, and we're right at that 1%. Like
So
0.98%, 1.4%.
Yeah, so if you're in Nevada, I just did say that right. Nevada. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that. So if you're in Nevada,
she'll straighten you out.
Yeah, she will. Go register to vote as a libertarian because we need the help, and just a few people can get us ballot access there automatically without having to do signatures and wrestling alligators or anything like that. So,
yeah, the other way is one of our candidates get 1% of the statewide vote, which is 1% of all the votes total for House of Representatives.
Yeah,
which is how we have been getting on, but just with having, it's been tougher because now we have 4 congressional districts. Back when we only had 1 or 2, usually that one could get it, but now the congressional districts has it tougher to get on with that.
It's definitely harder. So tell me about in 2022, you are going to be hosting the Libertarian National Convention in Reno. Sparks.
Yeah, Sparks, which is suburb of Reno.
Yes. So at the Nugget there. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there'll be, except for Memorial Day weekend, right?
It is Memorial Day
weekend, 2022. Of course, we'll be doing the bylaws and the platforms, candidate training, continue with that, and speeches from all kinds of libertarians.
Yeah. We heard a couple of prospective speakers today.
Right.
We also have our officer elections.
Oh, yeah. The whole Libertarian National Committee be up for election.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to tell us about?
Can't think of anything else.
All right. He's the most popular. He's the most popular member of the LNC. This guy was elected on a voice vote at the convention, no opposition, and it's because he works his ass off for the party. He does great work, and we're making a lot of money. So.
I thought it's just because nobody else wanted to be treasurer.
Well, that might be part
of it. One thing they have to do as treasurer is they review the monthly FEC reports.
Yeah, dealing with the federal government is kind of a non-selling feature of the job. So
right. Yeah, we have had to sometimes catch some. Sometimes we get questions. Sometimes from state parties about can we do this, or what do we have to do to start filing with FEC? So sometimes I have to help
can
them
we do Bitcoin?
With those. Yeah, that's one thing we had to set up. Was we couldn't really collect
You can
People
collect it, but you
couldn't-
have to convert it
Yeah,
immediately.
we immediately converted because that was acceptable by the FEC, and also the IRS says if you hold on Bitcoin, then we have to pay capital gains taxes on it. Yeah, at
Yikes.
like 36% interest or tax rate.
So you
So-
can take
so-
donations in Bitcoin, just got to
Right.
convert it immediately.
Yeah, we use
Or-
BitPay to convert it immediately for the party.
Yeah, or you immediately hate your treasurer if you don't. 'Cause then they got to do all kinds of tax filings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, thank you so
Oh.
much for appearing on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
We'll this will be broadcasting tomorrow night, so
All right.
we'll be here in Chicago. I think we're going to be doing. You want to do the boat tour tomorrow?
I think I've heard it's a good tour.
Well, I
It's
mean,
architects.
it's architecture too, so it's
Sure.
like,
I
yeah. I mean,
talked to you about the buildings as you go down
Yeah.
the Chicago River.
there are so many fascinating buildings. As
Yeah.
we walked down the road last night, there are so many fascinating buildings here in Chicago. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn a little bit about them.
Yeah. And we went out yesterday get our deep dish pizza. Did you get yours yet?
I did get my deep dish pizza. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I got mine with the anchovies because I'm that guy.
I don't know if they ever,
Yeah.
ever actually ate anchovies.
Oh, they're
on
good.
pizza.
I mean, it's salty. It's just if you
Oh.
like fish and salt. It's good. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chicago pizza is very unique to the area, and it's good. I went to Lou Malnati's.
Nice.
Their crust was very buttery.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we went to Gino's East.
Okay, all
Oh,
right.
They're both
Wow.
good. And
Excellent.
Giordano's.
But yeah, we've had a
It's
good time here in Chicago, and
Yeah.
we'll be talking with Tyler Smith in the morning. Or not Tyler Smith.
Oh, Harris,
Tyler Harris. I
executive
talked to
director.
Tyler Smith. I talked to Tyler Smith a couple weeks ago. That's, he got his name on my mind. But Tyler Harris, the executive director of the LNC, will be talking to us tomorrow. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.
Got to remember that mute button. All right. So that was Tim Hagan, our treasurer. Great guy. If you ever get a chance to hang out with him, definitely do that. And now our interview with Tyler Harris, not Tyler Smith, who's a great guy. I did get some questions. One about American Solidarity Party. I actually don't know anything about them, so I can't tell you. IRS is stealing crypto from American tax crypto. Yeah, I mean the tax policy on it. Like the people that did the who rode Doge up, and if they sold out, they face capital gains taxes on all the money they made on that. So that's gonna be a rude awakening for a lot of investors that got into Doge and rode the rocket up the profit making hill. So yeah, it's hard. The tax man wants everything he can get from you. So anyway, so let's talk with Tyler Harris.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Political Deep Dive. It's day 2 of the LNC meeting. It's early morning, and I'm here with the Executive Director of the Libertarian Party, Tyler Harris. How you doing, sir?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. So tell everybody about yourself. Give us your background.
Right. Well, I guess you could say that I was bit by the political bug pretty early. I worked my first campaign when I was 16 years old, and kept rocking off and on ever since. After college, took a little adventure in the private sector, worked for a fairly large multinational company in their U.S. payments division. I was there for about 5 years, left to start my own shop. And so I had the entrepreneurial small business one-man band experience for about another 5 years, and made a decision a little while back that I wanted to change things up. I'd always been really passionate about free markets, always been really passionate about free enterprise. I said, I got to get myself in this liberty movement space.
Nice.
And so in 2017, I volunteered for 2 days in the national headquarters, Libertarian Party, and never left.
Well, there you go. There you go. So were you always libertarian, or did you dabble in other parties? Like I mean, I dabbled both sides, both the other parties. But were you always libertarian?
In principle, I was always pretty close to libertarianism. I was always sort of libertarian in my heart, like a lot of people are. My misspent youth was in the Republican Party, and the first campaigns I worked were in that party. Though I was in a part of Northern California up in Sonoma County, where I have to say that was. I've never seen more of a minor party than the Republican Party of Sonoma County.
True.
Probably were running about 20% voter registration when I was involved about 20 years ago. So it certainly was the plucky experience even then.
We're kind of experiencing that in West Virginia, where it's the Democrats that are kind of the endangered species there. It's interesting to see, different parts of the country having just disparate. You think that both parties are strong across the country, but they're not. There's pockets where they just don't exist. You live in Alexandria, right?
Well, our headquarters is in Alexandria. I live about 40 miles southwest, so
okay.
I'm in a pretty purple county in Virginia that's seen a lot of change and seen a lot of competitiveness out where I am. But it's not uncommon across the country to see these essentially one-party states and counties and cities and jurisdictions. And we have a tremendous opportunity there for the Libertarian Party where folks don't have an alternative. We talk about being an alternative to the two-party system, but a lot of folks need an alternative to the one-party system.
Absolutely.
And we provide that in a very big way.
We've had... definitely in certain areas we have that opportunity because there are people in the main party that don't agree with the party on one side of the issues, but they're in that party just because it's so dominant in that area. Really just to be able to participate in the democratic process, that they have to join that party. And there's that opportunity for us because we can speak to those people that are in the party that don't agree with them, say on economics or on civil liberties or whatever. So, we definitely need to reach out to parties in those one-party pockets because there's definitely disaffected voters within those ranks because they're almost forced into that choice.
Absolutely, and in those situations, whether it's the Democratic Party or the Republican Party that's failing to compete, they've had this tremendous job. They have all the natural resources in the world to apply to it. They have a much more beneficial legal framework, a much more beneficial ballot access framework, a much more beneficial infrastructure framework, and they're failing to be competitive in these areas, which is a pretty resounding. We want to talk about markets. Markets aren't just buying and selling, right? That's a market telling you that there's not a demand for that thing. And so there are lots of places where there's just a real rejection of one of the two old establishment parties. And we have huge space to move into there to be that alternative that can speak to the side of the issues that people agree with, that has given one of the parties this sort of one party dominance, but they can present the other side of the coin, on whichever package, depending on which old party it is that they're bad on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us about the role of the executive director. What does the executive director do for the Libertarian Party?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the executive director heads up our staff operations. So, we're a growing party, and it's an exciting time as much for staff as it is for everyone else, as for our activists and for our LNC members and for everybody. And as we grow, there's more and more of a need than ever for a role that keeps staff moving in the same direction, that takes the vision that's set by the LNC and our organizational vision that's laid out in our statement of principles and is just core to that genetic material of the Libertarian Party, and aligns that with short and intermediate term goals and keeps staff moving in that direction. So it's about coordination across all of our different functional areas, and it's about a shepherding of that vision so that the day-to-day tasks that we do that can sometimes seem so disconnected from seeing a world set free in our lifetime roll up both in practice and in the minds of the folks who are executing them roll up under this tiered hierarchy of goals so that we're implementing our strategies and moving in the direction that we need to move as a party.
That's awesome. Yeah, I get a lot of questions about what is the LNC, what is the Libertarian Party's role. The LNC is really the vision of the party, where we set the vision of the party. These are the guys, Tyler, Tara DeSisto, Michelle McCutcheon, all the great staff at LP headquarters are the ones who execute that vision. So
if I were to start naming people, I would have to literally name them all. We've got an incredible team,
You do.
And it is. I could not be more proud of our staff, and that I feel a great privilege to be able to be in this role and to be able to be one of the professional libertarians out there in the movement. I feel, along with that privilege, two great weights and responsibilities. One of them is living up to the vision of our party that was set out 50 years ago to see a world set free in our lifetime. But perhaps the heavier of the two that I feel is living up to our incredible staff and making sure that they have the infrastructure they need and the support that they need to do the incredible work that they do. We've got fantastic people, and I just hope that I can, hold a candle to them on a day-to-day basis.
yeah, Tim Hagen photobombing us. You had your turn
I
yesterday.
understand that's his specialty.
Yeah, there we go. So tell us about some of the development projects that are going on at the LP.
Yeah, well, we've got some fantastic projects going on right now. So you've probably heard out there in video land about the Libertarian Frontier Project, but I'm going to talk about it anyway in case anybody hasn't. This has been a very concerted effort that has its origins several election cycles ago. We started doing pilots and test cases of this idea of what happens if we take resources, concentrate them on state legislative level races in districts that are winnable, that are targetable, where we can have an impact for candidates who are competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a number of folks in 2018 who came very, very close. Of course, Bethany Valdez is somebody who came within 50 some odd votes in Wyoming of unseating. At the time, the House Majority Leader came back and did it again in 2020, and Bethany ran again and did very well. Closed the 50 to 30, and came very, very close again. But we, of course, elected Marshall Byrd to the Wyoming State House, representing that Green River area of Wyoming. Electing a libertarian to a state legislature for the first time in a generation, for the first time in my political lifetime, if not my biological lifetime, my political lifetime being active and involved in politics.
Yeah.
As the first time a libertarian was elected at that level. And it is that effort will only continue and expand. We've sort of the benefit of a test case is you either prove or disprove your theories, and we've proven that the theory here is sound, and it's such a valuable thing that we're doing as a party, and of course it relies on tremendous support from our donors and our members and our activists to get out there and keep it going. But we've got a fantastic team out in the field. I got to brag a little bit about our headquarters team and our national staff. Apollo Pizzell has pulled together a fantastic team to do field work out there. We've got really, really talented people doing really professional campaign work out in the field.
That's awesome.
Right where it's going to have the most impact.
Yeah, they are fantastic. And the win last cycle is just testament to all the hard work that went out there, and of course Bethany got so close again, and she's such a hard campaigner, and we hope that she can get over the top this next time if she wants to run. But tell us about we're gonna have a big birthday bash in Denver in August. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, the Libertarian Party is turning 50, and we're throwing ourselves a big old party to celebrate it. It's going to be in Denver, as you said, at the end of August. You can find out all the information and specifics about it and get tickets now at 50.lp.org or lp.org/50. You can also just go to lp.org, and if you scroll down to the bottom, there's this big, beautiful bar of links, and at the bottom of our website, most people, oftentimes you don't scroll far enough to find it, but if you get down there, you'll see a bunch of ways to go and support many of the projects we're working on.
Yes.
And you'll also find the 50th website down there. And it is going to be a celebration of our party's history and our legacy, looking back 50 years, but also looking forward to the next 50 years.
Yeah.
And the tremendous things we're poised to do.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Any other projects you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we've got so many great things going on. We've got, we have this year, under the guidance of Kara Schultz, our candidate recruiting specialist, brought to all 8 LNC regions around the country regional training. So we've already conducted the first one in Atlanta a week ago,
Yes.
and then we've got 7 more upcoming. And we have taken 2 different training tracks and combined them into a single 2-day training event. So there's a candidate track and an affiliate track. So if you want to be a leader in helping build out the infrastructure of the party, or a leader in helping run campaigns for the party, you choose a track when you sign up for the training. There's some overlap where the entire group will come together, and then you get specialized training in the area that you've chosen as you go through it. It's a fundamentals course. It's open to everybody. It's sort of the 101 course for these areas. And we've got some incredible trainers that are going to be helping us out, teaching modules within it. And it's a fantastic event to help build out the infrastructure of the party. I'd encourage anybody who's interested to check it out. I think it's really valuable. And, it is a springboard then for us to be able to come back in future years at national conventions and with other opportunities and events to tie it then into this more specialized training.
Yeah.
So if you do the campaign fundamentals, that can lead into a campaign management track, or a campaign treasurer track, or building out this skill set that's so in demand with our candidates around the country, or an affiliate treasurer track, or those sort of things, where you can hone in then on those areas at future events, having covered the fundamentals. We're tracking it with certifications. So you'll be able to go and find on our website certified people. So when you launch a campaign, you want to find out who are the folks who have been certified as completing campaign fundamentals, so I can go and engage them. That's a directory that we're building out that's going to be available on lp.org. And so we're going to not just train a lot of people up, but then connect folks together. And I think it's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, because a lot of complaints that candidates will have is that they don't have people to turn to when they start their campaign. So not only are we going to have a benefit of having those people trained, but then we could also have those people train other people, and when they go back to their states, it's a train of the trainers kind of model.
Yes.
So that we spread that knowledge, and we get, maybe they're not certified, or maybe they're, they can be state certified if they want to be, have a directory of in-state people that are trained. But I think it's a wonderful model for us to professionalize the party and get more people, professional staff to help run their campaigns.
Absolutely, and one of my passions, and it's not a glamorous passion. It's a weird thing to be passionate about, but that's okay. That's what makes me a good fit for the Libertarian Party is to be a little bit weird. But one of my real passions is creating. I love the photobombing that we're getting with traffic. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Is creating the structures for our party to experience the growth and success that I really do believe we're going to experience going forward.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, and nobody can sit here and tell you, exactly when and what and how it's going to look like as the Libertarian Party grows into the major party that I think we know it's going to become. But I do know that we need to be ready to capture that when it occurs.
Yeah.
And that is true. That's every bit as true in terms of building out our affiliate infrastructure and building out our knowledge base amongst our activists, as it is to building out our staff institutions and our organizational structures, so that we're ready and capable when those opportunities arise to take advantage of them in a way that's beneficial. We don't want to be caught flat-footed by success.
Yeah, exactly. Any other projects you want to talk about?
I mean, we've got, this is a question that's going to get you in trouble, because we've got so many fantastic things going on that it could just go on
3 days.
For 3 days. I'm going to talk a little bit about our expansion of staff, because we've added 2 new positions that folks may or may not be aware of. We have added a position for an activism coordinator, and populated it with Michelle McCutcheon, who's incredibly talented. And the purview of that role is going to be to engage our volunteers at the grassroots level, to work with our affiliates, and to fill that gap, where somebody might not have that active local infrastructure, might be looking for an outlet, especially between campaign cycles, looking for an outlet to engage and remain active and participate in this sort of, civic life with the party. And so there's that connection and engagement aspect to it. And there's also, we are going to need to be able to build out, and I'm so pleased that Michelle's doing this, a volunteer pipeline from National, to where people who come to us and let us know, because we're the point of contact, because we're the website they found, because they've gone to lp.org, and they've let us know, hey, I'm interested in the Libertarian Party, but I'm interested in being active. I'm interested in volunteering. I'd love to phone bank for you if you need it. I'd love to get active and involved. I'd love to turn out to an event. And building out that pipeline to correctly and adeptly connect people up, to do it quickly, so that people aren't, so that people are engaged when they're coming to you asking for engagement. And I'm really excited that we have somebody who's now devoting full-time attention to that role of engaging our activists on the ground.
Yeah.
And then our second position is we've, of course, added a communications director. The amazing Larissa Gahn is in the role.
Yeah.
And, this is something where the party's communications, as we reach out to the world, as we engage media, as we do more and more press, as we get more and more attention, this is something that needs somebody who can have ownership and stewardship over those functions. And we're incredibly lucky to have Larissa on staff. She came on board about a month ago. We've been doing lots of exciting strategic planning with both of these new roles, and really inculcating this idea of deliberate, proactive, strategic action throughout those positions and the rest of staff.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it, and telling us all about what the good stuff that's going on at the LP headquarters. Let's remind everybody, 50.lp.org or lp.org/50.
They both
you
get
want to
you
go
the
there?
same place.
They get you right there.
Yep.
lp.org. lp.org membership to join the Libertarian Party. Just get out there and join the Libertarian Party if you like the message that we're conveying this weekend. We're growing. It's a active movement that is growing and growing and growing, and I cannot recommend joining the Libertarian Party enough. So.
Yep. And to those of you that have already gone to lp.org/membership or lp.org/donate and supported the Libertarian Party, what we do and the successes we're having is because of you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so that is our executive director of the Libertarian Party, Tyler Harris. Again, and thanks to all three gentlemen for joining me during this this week's episode. We did have some questions regarding cultural voting communities. Yes, there are efforts that we're doing. I know LPTV had Libertarios Españos as one of their shows. We're creating affinity groups. There's one that was created. There's a Libertarian Moms. There's a Veterans for Libertarian Veterans group. So be on the lookout for more affinity groups that are popping up to share the message throughout the party and with your friends and those people who are politically homeless and are looking for more freedom. We've had some questions about the Libertarian Party's policy on antitrust. Generally, the Libertarian Party is about free markets, removing government from the markets, because we believe that they're a bad actor. They shouldn't be picking winners and losers, and that the free market is the best way for allow us to make those choices, to vote with our dollars as to what we want to bring into our lives. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I usually keep the show to about an hour. Next week, we will be talking with Jess Mears, who was former membership director of the Libertarian Party, now works in the private sector and works for a nonprofit. But she has been bringing a lot of libertarians over to a thing called Clubhouse. We'll talk about Clubhouse, how to use Clubhouse, how to get involved, some pitfalls to avoid, and we'll talk about her time working with the Joe Jorgensen campaign, because she was, integral part of that, especially like bus tour and everything. She was kind of, not the campaign manager, but she was very well, very high up in the campaign. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week. We will talk to everybody next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you for joining us on the Political Deep Dive. We air every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can get regular updates on our show and our guests by following us on social media on Facebook.com/ThePoliticalDeepDive, all one word, on Twitter.com/PoliticalDeep, all one word, on YouTube.com/Papaduke, PAPADUKE, on Twitch.tv, The Political Deep Dive, all one word, and on Mondays, the audio of this episode is uploaded to SoundCloud.com/ThePoliticalDeepDive, all one word. And you can join in on the fun on Instagram.com/ThePoliticalDeepDive, all one word. The best way to support the Liberty Movement is to join the Libertarian Party at lp.org. Give us a like, a share, and a subscribe on whatever platform you're watching from. It helps extend our reach, and we greatly appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.